Thanks for tuning in to Bourbon Drop. I'm your host, Myron. Today, we've got a bottle that I could not wait to get my hands on. This is the new Elijah Craig A124. It is the youngest Elijah Craig barrel proof release ever. We will be putting it up against another 10-year single barrel today. So let's see if my review adds to the controversy. Let's get it.
Bottle drop, bottle drop, bottle drop.
So if you haven't heard by now, you've been living under a rock. The new Elijah Craig A124 comes in at 10 years, 9 months. So it's just shy of 11 years old. It's 119 proof, so it's kind of low on the proof. Now they're not putting 12 years old on the Elijah Craig barrel proofs anymore. However, to me, age is nothing but a number because my number one bottle of 2022 was an 8-year single barrel from Ladies Liquors. This thing is something special. It comes in at 131.8 proof. To me, that being 8 years, being better than some of the 12-year picks, in my opinion, to me, it says that age isn't everything. Now, look, we do get used to saying age on things. I remember how I kind of felt when Jim Beam took the 9 years off of Knob Creek, and Knob Creek was one of my favorites back in the day. It still does have a place in my heart. I still do like it a lot. But Knob Creek, when they took the 9-year age statement off of it, I was kind of like, oh man, that's a bummer, because I was kind of caught up in that thing where the older the better. And then, I had it and I was like, well, it's not bad. Honestly, putting them side by side, I don't think anyone would really even know the difference. Now, that's just my personal opinion. But to, change things up a little bit, I do have the 10-year single barrel that I picked up from Drug City out in Baltimore when I made that trip. Shout out to the folks at Drug City. This one I picked up on my way back. This one I picked up at A&A Wine and Spirits. I've got footage of that one coming out if it hasn't already come out. So be on the lookout for that hunt. Always remember, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Let's get up to 4,000 subscribers. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into this thing. So I am going to give you a full review. I'm not going to do them blind. I did have them off camera. I kind of already have my opinion on them. I'll still give you my honest opinion even tonight. But I want to get into the A124 because, like I said, right now it's a lot of controversy around it. Everybody's caught up in that 12-year age thing. Now, the last one being 13 years. This is it right here. This is the C923. That thing was amazing. That thing was amazing. And I put it up against a pirate bottle. If you haven't seen that video, go back and check that thing out. So, no more talking. Let's get into the nose of this thing so I can give you guys my thoughts. As always, Elijah Craig, super oaky on the nose. I don't know what it is about Elijah Craig, Heaven Hill products. They always come across to me out of the Glen with this really old, dusty oak smell. No ethanol, though. There is not an ethanol punch at all. A little bit of a brown sugar note, just a touch. And some sour green apple. Let's go into the 10-year pick from Drug City. That's actually a little more muted. That one comes across with just a hint, like just a slight hint of a caramel note on the nose. That one picked up a little teeny bit of brown sugar. Let's go back into the nose of this one. Still sour green apple, still old dusty oak. All right, let's go into the palate. I don't know what the controversy is about. That thing is a little spicy, but to me it's good. Butterscotch. You guys know I'm a fan of butterscotch. It's got butterscotch. It's got like some type of almost strawberry, raspberry. It's got that in there, almost like strawberry, raspberry. No cherry Coke or cherry cola note or Dr. Pepper note in this one, but it's got this real like concentrated, rich fruit note in it. Go back in one more time. That comes through more on the palate now too. It's almost like raspberry and sour green apple. Still got that dusty oak. That's got a really rich, fruity note that stays from the front of the palate all the way through the mid. There's a little bit of char on the back. It's a little spicy. It is a little spicy. I like that though. The mouthfeel is good. The mouthfeel is very good. It's also got like a vanilla cream note in there too, just kind of like weaved in. I like that a lot. All right, so I had them off camera and I kind of had my opinions. That may have changed. I did get the neck out of both of these. So we'll see where my heart kind of lies after I take this one in on the palate. Let's get into the palate. That comes across different. It's a touch thinner on the palate. I pick up way more caramel. There's more of a caramel sweetness, a white table sugar sweetness that's in that one. I don't pick up as much of those like raspberry, strawberry, cherry-ish type notes that I did with the A124. Let's go back into the palate one more time. That is a very good pour. That's a very good pour. I'm actually picking up a little bit of that like clove cinnamon, just a little bit. That one even has some chocolate on the back end. I'm starting to pick up like a dark chocolate on the mid to the back end and more clove in this pour right here. This is what I'll say. I do like this one. I like it a lot. To me, this is more typical Elijah Craig. Butterscotch, brown sugar. This is a very good sweet single barrel. This comes across with more caramel, more like white table sugar. It does, to me, it doesn't have the Elijah Craig barrel proof profile. If you put both of these in front of me, blind, I would definitely pick, well, you know how blinds are. Sometimes you can be swayed by just the lightest note and the lightest thought in the back of your mind. I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be wrong. So you'll pick the glass that you think. But when I had both of these off camera, the first thing that I said to myself after pouring them up was, this is more Elijah Craig barrel proof profile. This is a very good single barrel. It is very good. If you are by Drug City, I suggest going ahead and pick one up. But this one with that rich butterscotch. And to me, Elijah Craig's, yes, they do differ from batch to batch, but they still have a very similar flavor profile. So that brown sugar, that heavy butterscotch note that you pick up in Elijah Craig. Sometimes I pick up like this cherry cola Dr. Pepper note that you pick up. Those are the things that are, to me, that are typical of Elijah Craig. This one is not a bad pour, but to me, it doesn't fit that profile. So let's get back to the A124 and I'll give you my thoughts on it. Let's get back into the nose. That dusty note, man. That raspberry, strawberry that picks up on the nose. Light vanilla. Back into the palate. Rich, buttery, butterscotch, raspberry, strawberry. Like that cherry-ish note transfers to the palate. It is a little more spicy in the palate than that one. It's just got, it does have a lot going on. It's got it's even in the back now, I'm starting to pick up like with that strawberry raspberry note, I'm starting to pick up like almost like a maple syrup like drizzled in. I am liking this product. I do not think that this is going to beat the C923. Sometimes when you have a release like a C923 that is just phenomenal, it's going to be hard to follow up. I think that this is just suffering from having, let's say, a better performer ahead of it. Because, you know, if you go to a show, you see as a warm-up act to get the crowd nice and warmed up before the main event comes on. C923 last year, they kept that thing as the main event. It just so happens that the A batch comes out after it, and it just can't keep up. Now, like I said, this is not a bad pour, in my opinion. I think that this is actually an excellent pour, but it is nowhere near C923. So let's get into the breakdown. Is it worth the chase? You guys know me. I am an Elijah Craig fanboy. I am always going to chase these products until they disappoint me. I haven't had one disappoint me yet. It's kind of like the Bakers and Bookers. Those are kind of 50-50. Like, I'll get some that I like, some that I don't like. When it comes to the Elijah Craig barrel proof releases, I haven't had one disappoint me yet. So I'll continue to chase these until one disappoints me and makes me start thinking otherwise. Are they worth over retail? I paid $70, I think it was $71.99 or $72.99 at A&A Wine and Spirits for this thing. So I would gladly do that again. I think they do retail for about $69.99. I'd even go up to my $30 because that's how much of a fan I am of Elijah Craig barrel proofs. Who is it for? I would have to say that this is more for an experienced bourbon drinker. This coming in at 119 proof, and it is a little spicy. I would say intermediate to experienced, because I think an intermediate bourbon drinker would be able to handle 119 proof. I mean, look at Knob Creek single barrels. Knob Creek single barrels, when I first got in the game, to me, that's why I stayed with the Knob Creek Hundos, because that Knob Creek single barrel was just too spicy, and sometimes the Hundos were a little spicy. So I do think an intermediate bourbon drinker would be able to handle this, but I think a more experienced bourbon drinker would be able to really appreciate this. Will it always be on the bar? Yes. I told you this before, I am a fan of Elijah Craig barrel proof releases, so until they start to disappoint me, they will always be on the bar. And with that being said, let the whiskey flow, never run out unless you head it to a drop. Till next time.